I am SRI Master Gano Grills for Galighticus.com, and thank you for joining us for another episode of Questions and Answers. I have to say that every single day I get many inboxes on Facebook. A lot of times I'm not able to respond to some of the emails that I get that are requests for help, or someone really needs to have an answer about some situation that's going on in their life. So I created this platform as a means and a mechanism to circumvent the traffic, and that I can randomly pick some of those quixotics and be of service to you. So I hope that you will not take it personal if I'm not able to reach back out to you, but there is a lot of responsibility that I have on my shoulders, and I will do my best to serve and get to as many as I can. So with no further ado, I'd like to get to the very first question that was posed to me on Facebook by Keith Burgess. Keith Burgess asks, do you believe the world should have ended in 2012 as predicted after the 26,000-year cycle? Or was the world saved by the gods? So according to the Mayan calendar and some of the other well-known astrological measurements, a lot of people believe that the existence of Earth's day-to-day life was going to come to an end throughout the year of 2012. Not only that, but unfortunately, there were some very, very unscrupulous people that took advantage of the fear that was associated with that thought form of Earth coming to an end. And as a result, there were some people that I don't really think took the time to vet out where this information was coming from. As a result, there were some things that sprung up, and some people decided not to pay their debts anymore. Some people decided not to pay their mortgage or their bills because they thought that when 2012 came, we would magically be in the fifth dimension. There would be no need to carry out the responsibilities of their obligations. I knew that 2012 was going to come and go like any other year, any other day. And this is something that's been going on since the year 999. People thought that in the year 1000 that the world was going to come to an end. People thought that in 1999 the World Wide Web come to an end in the year 2000. People are really ruled by some of these ridiculous things that couldn't be further from the truth. But here's the reality of the situation. Our planet is heavily protected, and yes, there are life forms that basically cut in line and they don't follow the rules of what it takes to be incarnate and be part of this experiment that Earth is known to be. So to answer your question, Keith, yes, there was the end of a certain age that came to an end right around that time, 2012. And yes, our planet was protected from a series of asteroids that came very close to hitting our planet, and they were blocked by the energy of different councils and different gods who lord over life on this planet. There have also been some things in the past that have brought life to an end on this planet, but that was part of the natural order of the cosmic ecosystem. And these things happen to bring about new life. There are also gods that are responsible for bringing different life forms to an end, like Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva, his job is to end different stages of growth to make way for new growth. So this is a very interesting paradox. But to make a long story short, this planet is not going anywhere. And there are many, many different groups of people who would like to see it end, who are doing everything they can to make this world an arid, extra dry, apocalyptically inhospitable place to suit their needs. And I'm talking about the Lizzies, and that's not a conspiratorial thing. And they get their agenda across by making movies about Earth having a nuclear fallout. And I also would say that it's important not to support these kind of movies, because all of these different fears go into a thought bank that help to perpetuate these realities and other dimensions that you visit at night. So I hope that answers your question. Our next question comes from J. Markel Holmes. Greetings, SRI Master Gano Grills. My question is, because our divine parents are gods, does that technically mean we are gods, or does it mean that we have the opportunity to become gods? That's a really insightful question, J. Markel. And one of the things I would say is that everyone does not have a divine parent that is a god. Since I've been speaking about divine parentage, it covers a wide gambit of sentient beings, and some of them are known as elementals, codons, cities, phosogrims, demons, ifrit. There are many, many different forms of life that are not human, that are above and older and more advanced than the human form. Therefore, because everything creates life and everything moves, there are things that are progenited and they create the engine of what life is experienced as, which is the soul in your body. Your soul has to be a certain age that would give you or trace you back to a formation that is known as a God in the universe. There are some souls that are very, very young. Some souls are not even 1,000 years old, which means that a soul that is 1,000 years old might have lived anywhere from 5 to 10 lifetimes. That soul is not old enough to be traced back to a God. Therefore, that soul might have a divine parent that is an elemental form, or that soul might be an earth-based soul. That soul might be a walk-in. That soul might be a parallel soul that comes from a different dimension and walks through a doorway and inhabits another first breath of life soul that has already been here. So it's a very, very complex study. But to answer the second part of your question, for the people who do have divine parents who are gods, yes, you will always have the promise within your own structure and consciousness to evolve one day into being a god yourself. This is not something that happens overnight, the snap of a finger. This is something that takes place gradually throughout the epochs of the eternal. And it takes lots of energy for you to break free of the human form. And what's really interesting is that enlightenment is the first thing that will remove the human default program out of your way. Once you have enlightenment, then you can have ascension. Once you have ascension, you are free from the human form. Once you're free from the human form and you have ascended, you can begin to work on becoming a higher being, a god, a planet, a solar system, or a universe. That's right. There are beings whose consciousness is as vast as a universe, and they take care of all of the galaxies and the solar systems that dwell within their expanse. And this is how big the Creator is. The Creator is everything that you could possibly think and everything that you couldn't possibly imagine. And there is much to learn about expanding into your full potential. But the very first step is to stop being ruled by the limitations of what the human experience is. So I hope that answers your question, J. Markel. Our third question comes from Darwin Young. Greetings, SMGG. I like that. I've wondered about the bracelet you sometimes wear on your left wrist. Is it copper? What does it do? Thank you. Very good friend of mine made this for me years ago, and yes, it is copper. It's naturally stained, and I like to wear adornments that actually have power. There are some people that wear jewelry that don't have anything more than just a significance or a connection to a religion or a thought form. I personally believe that if you're going to wear jewelry, the original impetus of jewelry is to empower you. So when you look at the gods, or you look at even angelic beings or certain higher forms of cognizance within the universe, whenever they wear something, they're wearing something that is connecting them to a power source or something that is giving them lots of power. Humans actually imitate the way that these higher forms live. So when you're wearing a watch, it's so that you can know the time. When you're wearing something like a chain, it should have a spiritual significance to it, or it should at very least empower you to do more than what you can do without it. I am SRI Master Gano Grills for Galighticus.com, and I hope that this video has served you well. And I hope to see all of you July 23rd and July 22nd in Atlanta, Georgia for our next Kundalini activation, as well as the Big Picture Seminar 3.0. It's going to be amazing. Talk to you soon. Namaste.